Jesus stood before Pontius Pilate as an angry crowd demanded his crucifixion. Though Pilate found no fault in him, the people insisted. Unable to change their minds, Pilate washed his hands in front of them, declaring, "I am innocent of this man's blood." Then the Roman soldiers took Jesus and whipped him mercilessly. His back was torn with each lash. They mocked him, placing a crown of thorns on his head and draping a purple robe over him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews," as they spat on him and struck him. Jesus was given a heavy wooden cross to carry to Golgotha, the place of his execution. The weight was unbearable, and he stumbled along the way. A man named Simon of Cyrene was forced to help him carry it. As Jesus walked, a group of women wept for him, but he told them, "Do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children." When they arrived at Golgotha, soldiers laid Jesus on the cross and drove large nails into his hands and feet. They lifted the cross high, and Jesus hung there, suffering. Despite his pain, he looked at those crucifying him and prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." On either side of Jesus, two criminals were also crucified. One mocked him, saying, "If you are the Christ, save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him and said, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus turned to him and said, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." At the foot of the cross stood Jesus' mother, Mary, and John, his beloved disciple. Looking down at them, Jesus said, "Woman, behold your son." Then to John he said, "Behold your mother." From that moment, John took Mary into his home. For 3 hours, darkness covered the land. The earth trembled as Jesus suffered in agony. Then he cried out, "It is finished," and took his last breath. The moment he died, the great temple curtain tore from top to bottom, signifying that access to God was now open for all. A Roman centurion witnessing these events declared, "Truly, this was the Son of God." A man named Joseph of Arimathea, a follower of Jesus, asked Pilate for his body. He wrapped Jesus in linen and placed him in a tomb, rolling a large stone across the entrance. Roman guards were stationed to ensure no one could steal his body. But early on the third day, a great earthquake shook the ground. An angel of the Lord appeared and rolled away the stone. The guards trembled in fear and fell as if they were dead. Later that morning, women came to the tomb, but they found it empty. An angel told them, "Do not be afraid. You seek Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said." Mary Magdalene stood outside the tomb, weeping. She turned and saw a man she thought was the gardener. But when he called her by name, she recognized him. It was Jesus. Overcome with joy, she ran to tell the disciples. That same day, Jesus appeared to his followers. They were afraid at first, thinking he was a ghost, but he showed them his hands and feet, proving he was alive. Before ascending to heaven, Jesus gathered his disciples and said, "Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." Jesus had conquered sin and death, bringing hope and salvation to all who believe in him.